Welcome to everyone that is popping in. Welcome to Kids Casting, our webinar on pageants today. First, let's see, where is everyone from today? Let us know in the chat. Where are you? Let us know. And we're going to give a few minutes for everyone to hop on, and we will start soon. Hello, Canada. I'm also in Canada. Hello, USA. I hope you are all excited. We have an exciting webinar today on pageants. Let us know. Where are you coming from today? Where have you joined us? Hello, Georgia, Maryland, Miami. Hello, Virginia, Quebec. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Illinois, North Carolina.
Wow, so many locations. That's awesome.
Austin, Texas. Welcome, everyone.
Okay, I see we have more than 25 people in the room now, so I guess we can start.
All right. So welcome everyone to our Kids Casting webinar. It's about how to win a pageant. This is very exciting. So my name is Tishelle and I'm an all casting member. And we have Kate, who is head of the casting directors for Kids Casting. And to introduce our casting director today, Trisha Hoffman.
Hi.
So Trisha Hoffman, hello. So just a little bit about you. Trisha Hoffman has been involved in the pageant world for many years. She's the president CEO of All American Girl Beauty Pageant, Inc., a New York State licensed corporation established in 1985. All American is affiliated with International Prince and Princess Pageant, All American Kids Management, and AAK Talent Management. Very exciting. She is a pageant director, author, producer, and model manager. She is a former model and actress with a Bachelor of Arts degree. And she has studied at New York Academy of Theatrical Arts and Western Mass Broadcasting. And you can actually get more information on her website at www.pageantwin.com. Welcome, Trisha.
Hi, glad to be here.
All right. So we are going to start by asking you some great questions that I know that it's all on our minds. So just give me one moment here. All right. So our first question, what type of pageants are there?
Well, it mainly breaks down to natural and glitz pageants, especially when you're involving young children. The glitz pageants really aren't as popular with the 18 and over. You know, that's more your straight USA, Miss America type pageants. But
Yes.
Glitz and natural are your basic two, and they're very different. Very different. So you really have to know what you want. Some people do both, And some people stay away from the glitz because it's a little too over the top for them. But, some people combine and actually do both types.
Okay. And would you recommend choosing one path or trying both out?
I recommend if you're just getting into pageants that you go the natural route. Natural is a lot less stress and pressure.
Okay.
The glitz, you really have to put on the glitz,
Yes.
and they're way over the top with the fake hair, fake teeth, makeup on even babies, which,
Oh,
is
wow.
beyond my, but I like natural pageants. Anybody that's starting out in pageant should really go with the natural. Don't go all in on glitz to begin
Okay.
with.
Noted.
But then if you want to try them, yeah, stay
Well,
safe.
yes, that sounds amazing and exciting. Now, do all pageants have the same rules and requirements?
Absolutely not. And this is where a lot of people get in trouble when you talk about how to win. Know the rules and regulations of the pageant that you're in. Each pageant has different time limits, different layouts, different directions that they want you to follow. And if you don't go by the rules of that particular pageant, just thinking that, oh, well, I was in a pageant last week, so I know what I'm doing. No, you've got to know the rules and regulations of the pageant you're in, and they vary. Time constraints, especially. Some of them actually have timers, and you're only, the timer will go off and you start losing points.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you're not off the stage. So some of them are very strict, some of them are not, but they do all vary.
Okay. And would it vary specifically on the pageant itself or the state, city, town?
Usually on the pageant itself. Most
Okay.
pageants are set up one way, and that follows through the whole. Sometimes at their national level, they will have a different time constraint because maybe they have more contestants or something than
Okay.
like if you enter a local smaller pageant, it's very laid back and you can usually do anything, you're not going to get points taken off. Where if you're on the national stage, they're very, very strict and you follow the rules or you lose points.
Okay. So starting in our local area would definitely be a good starting point.
Definitely a good starting point. Or if you're going into a natural pageant that is a little bit more laid back, you could go right into a
Okay. Well, that's
national and represent
exciting,
your
for
state
sure.
at a national. It really depends
Yeah.
on how involved it is. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a learning experience.
For sure. Because I'm learning so much as well. And
You have to just take a lesson each time you enter.
exactly. And what type of pageant dress or gown would someone need, and what are the costs like?
Again, if you're going natural, you can wear an off-the-rack gown. You don't have to get a designer, flamboyant type glitz gown. So you can just go less expensive. You don't have to have it made to order. You can really just go into any department store and go into their bridal department, for example, and get like flower girl dresses and things like that for most pageants, most natural pageants.
Okay.
And I remember when my daughter was little and I put her in pageants, I would get a gown that was just pretty basic, and then I would bling it up. And a lot of the moms do that too. You get your staple guns and your glue guns, and you add this to it and you bling it up, and you can save a lot of money doing it that way too.
Exactly.
But, yeah,
And it would
but you can you can spend a fortune too. It's really. But I always tell people, don't go out of your budget. It's like any sport or activity that a child does, you have to put some money into it. If your child's in soccer, you have to buy them soccer cleats. You have to, sometimes the school pays for the uniform, sometimes you pay for the uniform. But
Yes.
anything that you're involved in is going to take some output of money for attire. So,
For sure.
you do what you can afford. Don't take out a loan to do a pageant.
Okay. And would certain pageants, they would require you for a certain dress or gown, or is it just based on, if it's a natural pageant versus the glitz?
Pretty much the national versus the glitz as far as
Okay.
your gown goes. But as far as the color of the gown or the style of the gown, that's really up to the individual. That's your choice. So, I always tend to, if someone asks me for advice, I'll say, just pick a color that pops on your child,
Yes.
something that really brings out their eyes or, brings out their complexion. You really you don't want them to fade away on stage. Wearing white gowns, for example, not everybody is, some people are just going to fade out into the background in that. So
Yes.
you want your child to pop and stand out. So do pick your gown color accordingly, child's hair color, eye color, every mom knows what looks good on their child.
Exactly.
From the time they're babies, there's always one color that just that's their color. So
Exactly.
stick with.
Okay. And then based on natural versus glitz, does it matter if the dress is, long, short?
Again, you go by the pageant rules, and that's
Okay.
where getting back to know your pageant. Some pageants have restrictions that, like I know our pageant, our petite division up to age 5, they can't wear a long gown. And the reason we
Okay.
have that restriction is because we've seen too many times where a child will go up the stairs and they're tripping on
Oh no.
the gown. They just can't handle it. They don't know how really to walk in a gown yet.
Yes.
So rather than torturing them because mom found this beautiful gown, we
Yes.
make it a rule in our pageant that up to age 5, they have to wear ballerina length is okay, above the ankle, but
Yes.
not floor length. But other pageants are different. They may not have that restriction. So it depends on the rules.
Okay.
But if you have a choice, wear short if they're 5 and under, because believe me,
Yes.
they can't handle a gown.
Oh, yes. And what about the rules on wearing makeup? And at what age is makeup allowed? The minimum that, hey, it's time for this child to start wearing makeup for this pageant.
Our pageant isn't totally natural. We call ourselves age appropriate.
Yes.
So we allow people to put a little bit of makeup on at any age that they want. Hopefully they won't do it on babies, but if they want to put like a little blush on a little girl's cheek because she's pale or something, that's fine. We tend to discourage them from anything that's not age appropriate. If they're 7 years old, they should look 7. They shouldn't look 17,
Yes.
But that's in a completely natural pageant. They don't allow any makeup at all. So
Okay.
again, you have to know your pageant rules and regulations, because some of them will say no makeup allowed up until maybe 13 or and then they allow a little bit, but they consider themselves natural. We consider ourselves age appropriate. And then glitz pageants, they put mascara on babies. I'm sorry, but they do.
Oh my.
Yes, I've seen it. It's no bars of hell there.
Okay. That's very interesting.
It's just whatever.
Yeah.
The more makeup, probably the better. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
They do. They go all out on the makeup.
Wow.
So each pageant has regulations and rules that they definitely must read.
Okay. So it's very important to understand, you know, the pageant you're going to and the requirements. And do they have like a, you know, do's and don'ts kind of thing on for the pageants or for the specific pageants?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, a lot of them will say you definitely cannot do X, Y, and Z. They don't
Okay.
really have do's, but they have a lot of don'ts. You know? It's the don'ts you have to worry about. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking about you know, the dresses and gowns, how many outfits would a child need typically?
Your typical pageant, if you're talking about a national pageant, and you're going to basically have your formal attire, your informal attire for beauty. And then if you're in modeling, you're going to have a model runway outfit, which is generally just an outfit of choice. If they're in a talent competition, then whatever their talent requires, they should just wear. You know, it's not like they're going to tell you you can or can't wear certain things. So basically 2 outfits for beauty, 1 or 2 for model, depending on the pageant.
Yes.
And interview is another segment of a lot of the pageants. And so they need an interview outfit. And
Okay.
that's generally an off the rack kind of outfit. It's not anything that you have to go out and buy an exquisite, expensive outfit for. So usually there's an interview outfit as well. But that's a more natural look. You know, the interview outfit would be, you don't want to wear a party dress for an interview.
Okay.
So
So when it comes to interviews then, so would that be, you know, specifically unique, each pageant will have, you know, that stage presence, you know, scenario or a speech?
it really, again, a lot of the pageants will, for their interview, will do like a one-on-one with the judge. They'll have a separate interview room and the contestants go in and they're interviewed by sometimes just assigned judges, like they may have 2 or 3 judges that just do interviews. Sometimes they do an on-stage interview. And our pageant, what we do is a group interview. We have it in a conference room, and we have two of our lady judges that do interviews, and they just sit around a boardroom. And so the kids can all just have a conversation and talk about the things they like to do, their hobbies, their sports activities. And then in that way, they all get to know each other as well. You know, so it's kind of a less stressful situation. And also some children really have social anxiety. In fact, we find more and more children with social anxiety lately. And if a child truly is afraid to do an interview, don't force them. You know, just talk to the director, just say, look, my child has social anxiety. They're really not up to doing an interview. Is there any way that, you know, we can not do that portion and not have it held against them? And, you know, usually a director will work with you if it's, you know, truly a medical issue.
Okay. And they won't lose any points, right?
They shouldn't. I mean, not if it's a medical issue and there's a reason for it. I mean, if they're just having a temper tantrum and they don't want to do it, yes, that's a little bit.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. No.
Yeah.
No. They might reschedule them at a later time for it. You know, if it's a nice director, say, okay, when's the temper tantrum's over, you know, bring the child back and we'll try again.
Exactly. Get you all ready to go again.
Yeah.
Then would a child need to have a pageant coach, special training to win a pageant?
No. I have seen many children win that have not had coaches or special training, but they have practiced, and you can practice at home. Moms can practice with their children. You can watch a couple of videos of, you know, pretty feet, how to stand, with pretty feet, that kind of thing, in that stance, and how to do a basic turn. Those are all things that they can do. I mean, if the child is serious and really wants to do, this is their passion, and they want to do pageants, more than they want to do anything else, then it's fine. Get a pageant coach and let them work with your child. But sometimes you can overdo it too, and then the child loses their natural gift, and their natural personality, because they're so worried about doing the wrong turn in the wrong spot because they've been coached to do it one way or another. And I always tell children when they come off the stage and they're upset, they said, "Oh, I really blew it. I didn't do my turn." And I go, "What turn?" And they said, "I was supposed to do a turn when I came out." And I said, "Well, the judges didn't know that."
Exactly.
The judges knew you're supposed to do a turn. So, you're the only one that knew it. It's your routine. So just let them be themselves a little bit. Don't put so much pressure on.
Exactly.
Less pressure, the better. Should be fun. They got to have some fun.
Exactly.
Right?
It's exciting. You get to be dressed up.
They get to be little princesses for a day, and mommy goes on them, and that's why I like the mommy and me type pageants rather than heavily coached pageants, which again, your glitz you'd have to bring your coach with you, and it's very, very uptight, and let mom do their hair, let mom comb it out and do it up and put the curlers in, and
Exactly,
because it gives them that one-on-one time with mommy, and it's a special bond. I mean, when I was doing it with my daughter, it was time that we got away for a weekend together, and it was our time. It wasn't, we weren't being bothered by daddy and by little brother, and
exactly.
it was just just her time with mommy. And it's special. It really is. It's kind of a special, fun thing.
Yeah, that's so precious.
Make it fun. You have to make it fun.
Exactly. It's exciting. It's fun. But do we need professional photos as well?
Oh, that's another category that all the pageants have, is photogenic. So I'm glad you brought that up, because the photos that I've seen on kids casting are fantastic for the most part. The kids have great photos on your casting site. So any of the kids that are already in kids casting don't have to worry about professional photos. They've got great photos. They could submit any one of them into the pageant and it would be perfect. If they don't have that, if they don't have good photos like that, you don't have to go all out professional photos today. You can take some really beautiful natural shots with your cell phones these days. The cameras are better than I've ever seen. I mean, they're great. So yeah, and with the editing tools that you have on your computer and on your phone, you can make a beautiful picture and get rid of all the flaws and everything, and have a great shot. So you don't have to. No, if you can afford to, and you have the luxury of having a beautiful professional shot done, sure, it's great. I mean, it's just that you don't really have to. But just a good picture that shows. And in photogenic, I'll tell you, one of the things that bothers me when people send in photogenic pictures is when they have hands in there, and when they have, when they're just a nice headshot, just do a simple head and shoulders picture of your child.
Yes.
That's the best thing, because when they're looking at photogenic, they're really looking at the eyes, they're looking at the features, they're looking at how that child is drawn to the camera.
Well, that's great to know, because I'm sure parents are thinking of, well, now I need to pay for professional headshots and the clothing, and that's nice to hear that, hey, you don't need to do that. That's not a mandatory requirement to enter a pageant.
Really is.
So that's great. And now, would a child need to have a talent?
A lot of pageants don't even have talent portions, so they don't. I know our pageant has talent, but it's optional. So if the child has talent, they can showcase their talent, but it's not a requirement to have it.
Okay.
I do think it's nice to have the option available because, put all those dance lessons, all that money to work, let them get out there and do their solo. If they were just in a group on recital, now it's their time to do their solo.
Exactly.
So it's really good. The dance ways. I mean, we've discovered more kids that can sing as a result of. I mean, the parents are even amazed. The child says, "I want to sing," and so parents say, "I don't know if she can sing or not, but she wants to take the mic and do talent." So they enter them in talent, and wow, I mean, this child's got some talent, and you don't
Wow.
know until you try. So
That's
it's
amazing.
yeah, it is. I mean, a lot of parents have been amazed at their own children.
Eye-opening for everyone.
Yes, like, where did that come from?
Exactly. And
So,
how about the scoring system? How does that work?
well, the way the scoring system works is, again, different for every pageant. Some pageants have optionals that are added in to the final score for the Grand Supreme overall. A lot of them have, like, just because there are so many different systems and scoring ways, I'll just give you a highlight of what ours is. For our beauty winner, for every division, we have 12 divisions. For each division, it's just based on their beauty score.
Okay.
Nothing is added. No optionals are added in. So you don't have to be in anything other, to win the beauty. You just have to get the highest score in beauty. Modeling, it's the same way. For modeling, the way we do it is their runway, and they have to do a TV commercial skit. That's part of their model score. So those two things are combined, and whoever has the highest in each age division, that's the winner. Talent is a separate category and judged just on talent. Interview is actually a separate category, and we have interview winners in each age division. Photogenic, the same way. It's just based on the photos, and every age group has a photogenic winner. Then when it comes to the Grand Supreme overall winners, the highest of all 12 categories, the highest beauty score wins the overall beauty. Same with model, same with talent, same with photo. The highest of every contestant from, 3 to whatever the oldest contestant is, the highest score wins the Grand Supreme overall.
Wow.
So it's very complicated, but it's all, thank goodness, done on a computer, so I don't have to tabulate anything. But it's a good system because it's based on that. Some pageants have everything combined, like the optionals added in to the beauty. So you really have to just again go by what the regulations, rules, and all are on that pageant to find out their system.
Okay, so
but I like the way we do it because it's very fair. Whoever's the best in beauty wins the beauty. It doesn't matter whether they did do talent or So, but each one is different.
Wow, that's amazing. So should we be, practicing our smiles, but also practicing our runway walk, and also, try to get together a talent, kind of just hit all the targets?
Yeah, they should really go for it all, just give it all a shot, because even if you don't think you have talent, if you enter talent, it's good exposure. There might be a talent scout sitting there judging that says, wow, that kid is so cute that child can't hit a note, but the cuteness factor is like over the roof. I want to sign my kid and send him out for commercials because they're just so darn cute. It's really all the exposure you can get it, because it's never going to hurt. It's not going to hurt. So that would be my advice, but you don't want to push your child either. So however you don't want to stress them out. You know,
Yes.
if you fill their day too much and they're just going to be stressed out, then it's not going to benefit them. But you don't have to worry about really being the best at what you do. You just have to worry about I'm going to be discovered, I'm going to be seen, I'm going to get
Exactly.
experience in this.
Yes.
One little girl, one little girl that I'll never forget on stage, she was like a little Shirley Temple with the curls and the cuteness and whatnot. That child didn't do a darn thing on that stage. I mean, she practically tripped, you know. And one of the talent scouts, she is just so adorable. She's just so cute.
Oh,
I can't put her on my spreadsheet as the winner because she definitely didn't do anything right. But I am definitely going to talk to that parent about getting that child into commercials. And that child booked a commercial a week later. You know, it's just
wow.
it, it's the cuteness factor.
Yes. That's amazing. Well, Trisha, with your many years of success, what are the highlights, the main tips on how to win a pageant? Can you summarize it up for us?
Hard work. It really takes a lot of hard work. They have to practice and practice. I'm talking about winning now. I'm not talking about just having fun and being in a pageant. But if you're dedicated to winning, you're dedicated to practice. Preparation. You have got to get the outfit for, you have to have the right thing for the right job. So you really have to prepare. One of the tips I would give parents is that when they practice, put the outfit they're going to wear on stage on them to practice, because there's nothing worse than a child going down the stage like this, trying to get the shoulder up and trying to get, and going like this because it's itching and hurting. And,
Yes.
practice in it before they wear it on stage. Then you can buy a cheap little cotton t-shirt and cut it, to match the dress, so that they've got a little liner and that little crinoline is not digging into their sensitive skin.
Yes.
So definitely no surprises. Practice in the outfit, practice in the shoes, because there's nothing worse than putting a brand new pair of shoes on a child and telling them to walk down a runway. Practice first in the shoes, get used to them. That would be the biggest tip I could give any parent, really. Self-confidence, let them get on that stage and own it. They
Yes.
have to own that stage. If they want to win it, they've got to own it. You've got to walk down that stage and you've got to definitely know that you're doing everything right. And whether you are or you're not, you just got to have the confidence,
Yes.
and people will think you're doing it right. Follow the rules. Like we said, every pageant's got different rules. So make sure that you follow up on that pageant's rules beforehand. Eye contact with the judges is so important. When you walk down that runway, make sure you're looking at the judges. Chin
Okay.
up. I can't say it enough. Chin up. Because if
Okay.
you walk down looking down and your eyes are
Chin
cast
up.
down, chin
Yeah.
up. That's probably the best advice. Chin up. Always be graceful, as
Yes.
graceful as possible. I'm, like I said, that one little girl that definitely didn't have any poise, was not graceful. She still probably got more out of that pageant than anybody
Wow.
else that was in it. So
Yeah.
if you can, try to be poised, try to be graceful. And if you mess up, just keep on going. And like I said earlier, the judges don't know your routine. They don't
Yes.
know that you were supposed to do this at that point.
True.
So just poise is just picking up and going. You trip, you keep going, just keep walking.
Okay.
Don't try too hard. Don't over try, and always be polite, be respectful, because the judges are everywhere. They're in the elevator, they're in the restaurant. They're not only going to just see you on stage. So be respectful, be polite. Beauty comes from within.
Yes.
So if you're beautiful inside, you're going to be beautiful outside. And just like everything else in life, a little luck. And that's what it takes to win a pageant.
Yes. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much. Definitely confidence is key. And What I took definitely was that, when you said stay within your budget, because I think that is something that weighs over our heads, that cost is the driving factor for it all, and it doesn't need to be. And
Right.
I think that's amazing.
It, it's very important not to mortgage the house to do a pageant.
Yes.
It's far better to put money in their college fund.
Exactly.
So definitely do what you can afford to do and have fun with it, and enter pageants that aren't going to be so stressful and
Yes.
make you spend fortune on your gowns and all the rest.
Wow, that's
So,
amazing. It's so exciting. So for sure, have fun, be
yes,
confident, and just enjoy the
yes.
moment. Love it.
Enjoy the moment. That's a great way to sum
Yes.
it up. Enjoy the moment. Yes.
Enjoy the
Yeah.
moment.
Quality time with your family, and just enjoy just being there, being on stage, just the whole process. The confidence that they can gain from doing it is something that will take them so far in their modeling careers and their acting careers. Just the public speaking factor. A child that's been in a pageant has a far better chance of getting up in class and answering a question and not being afraid to do that because they've
Yes,
got confidence.
exactly.
They're not going to sit and be a wallflower.
Yeah, exactly. And also what you mentioned about practicing in the dress that they're going to wear. I think that was very, very eye-opening of like, yes, so you can, figure out the ways from the itch and the handles, and that was great.
Yes, it's very important that they follow that direction,
Yes,
especially with the young ones. The little ones are, there's always something that's itching them or bothering them with the way they make those dresses. They're not, they're not made to wear every day. So they're not taking into consideration that, wow, you leave that little itchy material exposed and it's going to annoy that child.
exactly.
Yeah, and a cheap white cotton t-shirt, all you need. Just cut it to
Perfect.
fit the dress.
Well, thank you for those amazing tips. And, thank you for answering all those questions with us. I'm sure we have so many thoughts and questions
Oh,
that
you're
we'd
so
love to
welcome.
ask you in the chat. So we're going to open up the chat for a Q&A. So if you have any questions for Trisha, this is the time, and ask away. I think Kampinga, you had a question. What was your question?
Oh, I think we have a first question in Q&A chat.
All right. What if my daughter is really shy? Great question.
If they're shy, I definitely recommend pageants for that child because it will help them get over their shyness. I would go, easy on the pageant. Don't put them in something that has a huge number of contestants. Don't put them in something that's going to, create any anxiety for them. But just a nice beauty pageant, get them used to just getting on stage, and the first time they do it, they'll probably be in a panic. How old is the child? Do you know how old that child is? Because age factor makes a difference too.
2 in August.
2 in August. Oh, well, that's the shy stage. Yeah, that's the terrible 2 stage, no matter how you go about it. that child will grow out of that very quickly.
Yeah.
But 2 is a tough stage. But the moms go on stage with the children at that age, so they're
Okay.
never allowed to go on stage by themselves.
Okay.
So if the child is shy, and even if you have to pick that child up, it's fine to do that. The judges just need to see the child. In fact, getting, if I could just take a minute, when when the moms are entering babies in the pageant, one thing I would love to mention is that the moms are not being judged. You're not being judged at all, but you have to dress nicely, look nice, because you are on stage, and the judges are seeing you also. Not that they're supposed to, I mean, and God forbid, they should never deduct points from the child if the mother doesn't do things right. But do get dressed nicely. You're the backdrop for the child. So wear a solid color. Don't come out with a wild plaid pattern and distract it, because it takes the eyes away from judging the child. So wear a solid color. Or, just make yourself look like the backdrop for that baby. A lot of the moms in our pageant will, like if their child's wearing a powder blue dress, they'll wear a blue dress or a navy blue or something, so that they're not contrasting with the child. They're just kind of coordinating. So, and then just go on stage with your child, with your 2-year-old. She'll have a ball. I mean, and if she doesn't, if she lays down and throws a temper tantrum, that's okay too. I mean, she's 2. That's what they do.
Well, yeah, she'll definitely feel comfortable with mom for sure. So we have Alina says that we have a pageant coming up this Sunday and it's their first time. So good luck to Alina. Now we have Leona. Hi, how to find a pageant in Illinois for 10-month-old baby?
Ooh, that's I don't know how you would actually find one other than maybe Googling pageants in your area. Go to some of the pageant websites and ask if they do pageants in Illinois. I'm sure they do. You just have to find them. I can't think of a place in the country that doesn't have pageants running at some time or other. So I'm sure they have them, but I don't personally know of any that are, are currently running or what their schedules might be, but there are pageants in Illinois. So I would suggest doing a Google search.
Okay.
If you have a problem, send me an email and I'll, definitely look into it for you. But off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay. So Google search would be best. There's not a pageant directory, correct?
There are different chat groups and websites that you could probably reach.
Okay,
If you go into a group that probably is active in pageants in your area, and they
because usually on
tell you what's coming up and when, but there are listings. I'm sorry, what was that?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that usually we have pageants like all over US. So basically, for pageants in Illinois, Alona, you should check out the kids casting calls and filter the location by Illinois and check out if we currently have a casting for that location. Because usually we do have like several locations at a time.
Beautiful. Okay, well, there's your answer. You don't have to Google, you just have to call Kate.
Right.
Great.
And any advice for baby pageants under 12 months?
For any advice for a baby what?
Baby pageants under 12 months.
Under 12 months, well, again, the advice would be the parent does have to take them on stage. So like I had said, you're the backdrop. When you're carrying the baby at 12 months, carry the baby so the baby's facing the judges. Don't put the baby up on your shoulder where they can't see the baby and you're walking down and all they can see is you. Hold the baby so that the baby is like a little puppet, just and present the baby. puppet, and just present the baby to the judges, and just make sure that get used to carrying the baby facing frontwards, because you're always carrying a baby this way. So just make a little seat out of your arm, and put the baby, prop the baby up, and sometimes it's nap time for babies.
Yes.
It's okay if they're sleeping. It's in our pageant anyway. It's okay if they're sleeping. What can you do? Wake them up and let them scream? No, that's not a good idea either.
Yes.
So they can see the baby, dress them up adorable. Don't overdress a baby. Sometimes the little ones, they have so many ruffles and all sorts of things that you can't even see the baby. They're just lost this little face inside this
Yes.
whole thing of. So just as long as they see the baby and you carry the baby properly, and practice at home doing it, that would be the best advice for little ones that age.
Okay. Perfect. Is there a standard age category?
Not really. Every pageant has their own breakdown. I mean, it's pretty general. You have babies that are up to 35 months, are usually considered babies under 3. And then you've got toddler groups, and then you've got little miss groups and teen groups. So but each pageant has their own age breakdown. So they're not standard.
Okay. So it depends on which pageant you go to. You could possibly be in, the Miss Littles, but then you could possibly be in the toddlers, depending on the pageant.
Exactly. Some will have
Okay.
like a 2 to 3 group, and some will have like ours is 3 to 5 for the petite group. Excuse me.
No problem. And what would you say is a path for after pageants that you've seen with your experience, where children have tried, is it just bigger pageants, or is there a specific pageant pathway? Is it to commercials, modeling specifically, where they try to branch out from their pageant experience?
A lot of people use pageants as a launching pad to get into acting, and it is an excellent way. Some people just love doing pageants, so even if their career is launched, they're still going to do pageants because it's what they love to do.
Yes.
But it's not something that has really an expiration date.
Yeah.
We have a Ms. division, and we have ladies in their 60s that enter doing
Wow.
pageants.
That's amazing.
And they have a ball, they love it. So there's no specific age to start or stop. It can just be ongoing.
Wow, that's amazing. Does anyone have any more questions for Trisha today? This is your time.
Giselle, I think you should jump on another chat, on the Q&A chat, and there are 5 questions waiting for you.
Okay.
And I'll just read the first one. How do you prepare a child for the interview? I think that's an important one.
How to prepare them for an interview? Well, interviews are done differently at different pageants, and most pageants are not going to tell you what questions your child's going to be asked ahead of time, because it sort of defeats the purpose of an interview. Questions are always age appropriate. So if it's, you could ask the pageant director. For example, our pageant will never ask anything that's political. It won't, or controversial. It's more personality based questions, what they, what their future plans are, that type of thing for the older girls. For the little ones, it's generally their sports, their hobbies. You try to get them to talk about themselves more than ask them a question. You try and engage them in a conversation. And that way you can see their personality. When they have on stage questions, it's a little rougher on the kids when they, for example, have to pull a question out of a box and, be asked a direct question.
Yes.
So you could practice with your child and just, sit down with them and talk to them like you're the interviewer, and just say, okay, tell me a little about yourself. What kind of sports and hobbies do you enjoy doing?
Yes.
And get them used to that conversation. Most pageants for younger children aren't going to be a pull a question out of a box type interview. So just, I would advise them to be themselves, not to be nervous, not to get
Okay.
uptight about it. And if they don't understand the question, just say, I don't really understand the question.
Okay.
And then they'll put it in a different format.
Perfect. And are there certain types of pageants to avoid? And is there a fee to participate?
There's definitely a fee. Every pageant has a fee. And the reason they have fees is because their costs are over the top. I mean, if a pageant's being run, you have to rent a ballroom, first major expense. And then you have to hire a DJ, and then you have to hire a videographer, and you have to hire, you have to pay for your judges' hotel rooms, and you have to pay for the judges' transportation, and you have to, I mean, the cost is just monumental when you get to the bottom line.
Yes.
So every pageant's going to have a fee. It just depends. Some of them are going to be a lot more expensive than others, and you just have to decide what your budget is. You don't want to spend more than you can afford to spend. So yeah, there are definitely pageant fees. They can vary. If it's just a one-day local pageant, it shouldn't be very expensive.
Okay.
I would say you shouldn't have to pay more than $100.
Okay.
Probably less than that, but not over that for a one-day show. So it really depends on the pageant. If it's a national, it's going to be more expensive, obviously, than a
Yes. Of course.
local pageant,
Okay.
because so much more goes into it.
Exactly. That makes sense. And how can I get an interview for a pageant for my 12-month-old?
An interview for a
Yeah.
pageant, you shouldn't need to have an interview. If you want to enter your child in a pageant, usually you submit a photograph, or it's not something that would require an interview.
Okay, so they can pay the fee, complete registration, and then they will be entered.
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
they would submit a photo. If the photo's accepted, then they can usually enter that way.
Okay.
It's not that they have to be interviewed.
Okay. And what does it mean that my son is the position of rising star?
That's not a very clear, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're asking.
Maybe in regards to probably like pageant terms, do they use any kind of pageant terms like, to continue to encourage children, if they don't win? Is there anything beyond that, maybe casting directors probably tell them, or something to look
Yeah,
out for
I
at
mean,
pageants maybe?
just the term rising star to me would mean or symbolize that the child has a great future in the business, that they're, definitely going to go higher places and do bigger things. So
Yes.
I would take it in that respect, but the pageant term itself, I don't, associate that as a, but just like, the child that kind of blew her routine and got a TV commercial out of it, she was
Yes.
definitely a rising star.
Yeah. Sounds like it for sure.
Yeah. So yes, they don't have to win the pageant to actually be discovered
Okay, good
at
to
a
know.
pageant. Yeah, I mean, they oftentimes the winner is the one that did everything right, but It's the one that didn't place that had the personality and the appeal to the judges that they wanted to work with for, a commercial or a project or something.
Yes.
So it's just being there. Just being there is already winning.
And is Pageant Win going to have another photo contest this year?
Yes, we have our Model of the Year contest, and that is definitely ongoing. So we've been running that for years now, the Model of the Year. So it's an ongoing competition that they can definitely enter. And that doesn't require anything in person. That's all online.
Okay.
So they just have to enter their, and it's inexpensive. It's only $25. So you can't beat it.
Perfect.
Can't beat it.
Oh, Trisha, shall we announce the upcoming pageant?
Yes, I would love to. In July, we have our International Prince and Princess pageant. It'll be held in New Jersey this year.
Wow.
Just a few miles from the American Dream Mall, which has Nickelodeon Universe and all sorts of wonderful adventures for your child if you wanted to come a day early or stay a day late. And it's the 15th, 16th, and 17th of July. And babies actually only compete on Saturday. So their competition is pretty uncomplicated. They have beauty and model. They don't have all the rest of the things that they have to do. And if they go to our website, I can, certainly email them the information, or they can just look it up right on the website. So I would love to have them join us there. It's fun.
Yes.
And it's exciting and wonderful opportunity.
Wow,
So.
that sounds amazing and fun, and definitely enjoy the present sort of pageant.
Yes, it's an all age appropriate pageant, so it's
Yes.
I'll
very
just
stress-free and truly a lot of fun.
I'll just add that the casting call for this pageant is already active on kidscasting.com. So if you're from that area, go ahead and apply, and Trisha will filter all the submissions and then contact the ones that fit the criteria.
Wow.
Yes, and it's all over. It's national, so it's all over the, in fact, Canada, because it's international. So we'd love to, we've had several of our international overall winners from Canada over the years. So Canada,
Awesome.
USA, we have people
Yeah.
that come in from all over.
Wow.
South Africa sends a huge delegation every year to our pageant.
That's
so we
amazing.
get contestants from all around the world. It's really fun. It's a very a great opportunity for children to make friends and know people from all different areas.
Yes, that's very empowering as well.
It's great. We have fun. We love it.
Yes. And someone had a question specifically about a pageant. If it's a 3-day show, is $550 worth it for the pageant?
For a 3-day show?
Yes.
I don't think that's unreasonable. No. If it's something that looks good and it's being held in a nice place, it's going to be fun to be there. And no, that seems like a reasonable fee for something that's on if it's 3 days, I assume it's on a national level. I would say that would be probably about right.
Perfect. And for our last question, someone was asking, where can they sign up for a pageant, which we mentioned kids casting, and some other options?
To actually sign up, well, most pageants have a website, and if you go on their website, they usually have their applications right on the website itself. Or at least a place that you can fill out to get more information on their particular pageant, and look at whatever whatever looks good and sounds good, research it. You don't,
Yes.
just look into it and see if it's right for your child,
Okay.
because there are a lot of pageants out there, and so you don't have to sign up for the first one you come across. Do some research.
Yes, for sure. And follow the rules for that specific
And
pageant.
follow the rules.
Yes.
Yes, follow the rules. Read those rules and regulations. And don't be
Exactly.
afraid to ask questions. As you get into it and start filling things out. If you have questions, send an email to the director,
Yes.
and they should answer your questions. I mean, you should know before if they won't answer a question, then I'd skip it and go somewhere else.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, Trisha, for, all the tips and highlights. We talked about
It was
cost.
fun. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
And
We talked about
kids
so many
kids
things.
casting is
Yes.
kids casting is great. It's a great place for you kids to be. And as a casting person, kids casting, it really, they give it all to you. It's all right
Yes.
there. So it's a good format.
Thank you. Thank you for answering all of our questions and making us feel very confident and, keep our chin up and
Eye contact. Hold the
and
baby this way.
exactly. We feel empowered and excited, and overall, the bond, with parents, it's just very exciting and fun. And of course, we're going to enjoy the moment. And I want to thank you, Trisha, for being with us today, and as well as Kate for co-hosting, and all of our lovely viewers. And I hope we answered all your questions and your curiosity about pageants.
I hope so. It was fun.
Awesome.
Thank you, Trisha, for all the insights that you have shared with us, all the experience, 30 years experience and knowledge. It's just priceless. Thank you so much. Because we all know that pageants, it's the right way towards entertainment industry, into acting, modeling, because kids get recognized by casting directors, by agents, and then offer jobs for commercials, just like you've mentioned for that cute little girl.
Yeah.
So that's the way to start.
They do. It's a good format. It really is. It gives them exposure. It gives them confidence. And, when they get out on a casting call, they're not going to be shy. The pageant kids are the ones that are going to be in the front row. They're not going to take the back seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.
You guys are great. I'd love to invite you both to come to our nationals if you want to in July. You can be judges. You can both be judges.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a huge responsibility,
Yeah.
July 5th.
The pressure's on, but I'm going to be confident.
15th,
I'm going to
16th,
keep my chin up.
17th. It would be great. Check your calendars.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
It was fun.